we are for another episode of our deliciously motivated podcast. Hey, Deb, I'm actually really looking forward to our conversation today because we're going to talk all about gratitude and appreciation. Yes.
An everyday thing that is a must.
It absolutely is. And you know, so it's really funny because when I was thinking about what that we were talking about this, do you have a daily gratitude practice that you do?
No, I don't. I teach it. I don't do it, but I do. I don't write things down. Like there's a lot of things you can do. What I do is I just go, if I'm sitting at the traffic lights and I get frustrated, I say, what am I grateful for then?
Yeah.
So it's more when the frustration hits me, I stop instead of just counting my blessings every day, which is what I teach. I just, it's only when the chaos hits that I go, oh, stop. What are you grateful for right now?
I like that. I think that's a really important thing. So it's more organic flowing for you. So to me, you really do have a gratitude practice. It's just that it's more in, it takes into account where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I do actually have a gratitude practice in that every night, the last thing I do as I'm falling asleep is, and my agreement with myself is that I have to name 5 things that I'm grateful for. And it's kind of like, it's a lovely way to just review my day and honor different experiences. And it's funny, sometimes they're problematic experiences that maybe I had a conflict or something didn't go the way I wanted it to, but it transpired that it was actually for the best. And so it's like, I'm grateful for that sticky situation or for that conflict. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. I think there's different levels of gratitude, and there's surface gratitude, and then there's true deep gratitude.
Yeah.
I find if you're not sleeping, doing that at night is a great one too.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so this morning I woke up, I'm grateful my heart's beating.
Yes.
I'm grateful I'm in a warm house, that I've got a nice, covers on me that keep me warm.
Bed. Yeah.
I'm grateful that I didn't have to jump out of bed an ungodly hour this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, when I would do these, if I couldn't sleep, I would barely get past morning tea time, because I would start the day and I go, oh, I'm grateful it's raining outside. I can hear it's raining. I don't have to get into my garden.
Yeah.
Just those things. And you'd have probably 9 or 10 gratitudes before you've even got out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
But as long, there's gratitude and then there's gratitude. And my thing is, as long as you're still doing some form of gratitude, thanking yourself, thanking others, being truly grateful, it doesn't matter what level you get to, as long as you're actually acknowledging that and shifting that within yourself.
Yeah. Well, even you're talking about going when you're having problems sleeping. One of the things that I've been known to doing is if I'm lying there and I know I have a big day and that's potentially why I'm not sleeping is because my head's going, oh my gosh, I have to do this and have to remember this. I will tune into the rhythm of my heart and say thank you with each beat. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's actually very soothing, very calming. I'm thanking my heart. And just by doing that, I'm getting into a rhythm, and I go to sleep so fast when I do that.
That's very grounding too. That's a real, so you're actually acknowledging your breath, you're acknowledging your body, you've got your skin to skin, and you're taking it in. That would be a great one, actually.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. And so I think because life keeps moving and it keeps shifting, to me, I think it's really important to have different ways that we can do this because gratitude keeps us in the present moment.
Absolutely. And gratitude does. It also keeps us transparent because if you can see that and to help others, because if you're disgruntled and people can see that, people won't want to be around you, or they'll try and fix you, or they'll try and help you, or whatever it is. And then they're just going to get frustrated if you're not going to take it on. Yeah. But if you can take control of your own thoughts and emotions and breathing space really, and do that gratitude, you ground yourself, and that also helps other people so that they're not going to be hit by your, wave of tornado of, emotions that's going to come
negativity.
yeah, when you're spiraling.
Yes.
I do like that holding hand on the heart and thank you.
Yeah.
That's a real straight to the point grounding.
Yes.
And it's something you can do in public without
Absolutely.
looking like a weirdo.
Yes. Although I'm okay with about looking like a weirdo. I'm okay with that.
I am too, actually.
I think I've got to the point where it's like, you can think whatever you like of me. I'm going to do this anyway.
I already know I'm weird, and I wouldn't want to sit into the normal category. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of boring. But so, the other part with gratitude too, I believe, is that gratitude actually helps us take responsibility for all that is in our life, all that is and all that's showing up and all that's being created. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well, see, that to me is what you just said is also about being present in the moment again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
All that is, and this is it, right here, right now, what you have in front of you is the most important thing for you right now, because this is right here in this present moment. This is what it is.
Yes. Right here, and this is what it is. And you're not then judging it or even stepping into being a victim of something, because you're right here, right now, and saying, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything that is right here. And I'm a part of it. I'm co-creating it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, even if you say you're grateful, and you say, I'm grateful for this, but you can feel that whole energy, I'm grateful for this. The devil comes out. I use those terms lightly. That inner voice, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this. And, trying to shift your energy. Yeah, exactly. That white knuckle fist that sort of happens, I'm grateful for this. Well, BS you are, really. But even if you actually say you're grateful for this, there is that little bit that will shoot through your body to go, yeah, there is a little bit of gratitude, even though you're just like, I'm freaking not, I'm over this, and yet I'm just saying this to appease Moira and Deborah, this is it, I've been told to be grateful, I'm grateful for this, I'm great, but even if you just say that and you're still in a pickle and you're in that chaotic spin, there will be a ripple that will jump off into your heart and just go, yes, you are.
Yeah.
And it's whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever, there's still that little bit. So even if you don't feel truly grateful and you're just saying it just to to please us.
Because somebody told you to. Yeah.
Yeah, because you should do this.
You should do this.
You should do this. As soon as you actually take stock and you start saying those words, it will shift within you. So it doesn't matter how deep it is. I'm grateful, and you've got tears and your body's shaking, and I just, you wouldn't want it any other way. That's a real deep, true, heartfelt. But there's also the other ones that you can just put your hand on your heart and you can just say, I'm grateful. You can get your physical symptoms, I call them goosies, anything that actually just stops and you feel, I'm grateful. And who are we to judge what level they go to?
Absolutely. But do you know what I was feeling as you were talking about that is this is actually a law of attraction type of technique, is the act as if. And so even if you are in some way white knuckling it, or you've got your teeth clenched a little bit, but you're saying I'm grateful or saying thank you, you're acting as if, and so it's like all aspects of you will catch up. It's a wee bit like...
So it's already getting in there.
Yeah, it's a wee bit like the wisdom that says, if you're in a bad mood, smile. Make yourself smile. Because then your energy starts to lift. Right? Because then you go into a different state. What was that?
Yeah. Okay, so I was just grunting, trying to put myself in a bad mood and try and smile and see what happens. Yeah. Feels weird.
But to me, it's like it's inviting in. I think that's where I was kind of coming from, is that it's inviting in. So even if there's an aspect of you that is in a bit of a bad mood, or is feeling sorry for yourself, or not quite liking what the situation is, if you're then inviting in some component of gratitude, well, there's a benefit in here, or there is an aspect I like in here, then it kind of spawns itself.
Yeah.
Grows bigger.
Yeah, I like that idea. Look, I mean, if you can say thank you to a person or something every day, there's going to be a shift in your wellness, not only your mental state, but also your physical state would just transform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you thank your, recently I was in Australia and I don't know what had gone on, but something had happened and I took my shoes off at 1 a.m. in the morning and I had elephant ankles. I've never had elephant ankles. Apart from the fact I was mortified because I was flying the next morning and how long have the ankles been like this, and I just pushed them and they squidged down and I got a heck of a fright. And I just sat there and went, what's happened to me? And then I went, actually, this is a really great thing for you to stop and be grounded, because you dodge your health. You don't look at these things. So this is a time for you to be grateful for these swollen ankles, because they've gone to the extreme over the normal. I'm actually listening to that more. Yeah. And so for me, it was I am grateful for this. I reached out to a friend who told me I needed to go to a doctor. She was very calm about it. She knew immediately I needed to get to a doctor and see what was going on, especially the flying. Yeah. So I had to put my feet up the air and sleep like that for about 10, 15 minutes. It was wee small hours in the morning. But I mean, I was grateful. I was grateful that chaos had happened and that I had ankles the size of elephants at that time, because it really made me stop and look at what I'm doing, you know. And now there's a lot of things that have happened since then that I'm looking at transitioning from. But I mean, just grateful for that chaos, grateful for my swollen ankles. And if somebody said to you, oh, I've got swollen ankles, someone would go, oh, you poor thing, or oh, what's happened, or because that's our go-to. Mm-hmm. Instead of actually confronting and saying, what's the blessing out of this? What are you grateful for? Yes. Of this chaos. Yes. It's not just the flowers that we want to be grateful for. It's actually the weeds.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. But the other part too, you know, in that scenario, like you just said about the, oh, poor you, it's abdicating responsibility. Because the truth is you created those swollen ankles. And so you did it for some good, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I know now why the ankles came about. You know, there was a few little things that glitches that came up and I'd missed. Mm-hmm. I'd missed and ignored. Right. And it has come back now. And so it was quite interesting. It was during a hormonal track, and it came back and I thought, oh, it'll be done. I've changed certain patterns. And then frickin' a month later, here we are again with swollen ankles. I'm like, come on. And I went, I don't have time for this. And then I went, no, you do. What you did was you patched it. You didn't work on it properly. Right. You skimmed it just on the surface to get through. Yep. So get real. Yep. What's really going on? So now I've had to dig to the next level of, because I patched it, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. A little bit smug.
Slapped a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, that's exactly good. Yeah, a big fat one. And so now I've had to go to the next level of what it really is, which is I'm grateful for, because in my business, in my world, it's just going to take me to another level of more about the mind and body linking that I know, but now I've actually got something to look at for me. Yeah. That's, you know, more viable, that I will be able to share with people instead of saying, here's a story of somebody else. This is my story.
You can share that. No, I like that a lot. It's really, really important. And like you say, it's because, you know, there will still be the initial knee-jerk reaction of like, oh man, thought I dealt with this already. Right? Like, I know I can relate. Like I can think of maybe even an emotional state coming up and then thinking, you know, as I observed like myself, like, oh, for goodness sake, I thought I dealt with this and released this. But like you just said too, is, wow, I've created this because I needed to go to that next level. There is something more juicy, more pivotal, more needed in order to make the actual transformation that is possible in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I mean, I remember growing up with that saying, one door shuts, another one opens. Mm-hmm. And my parents used to say that, and I'd think, yeah, as long as the door doesn't come and smack you in the ass as you walk through, you know, with my little comment. But I mean, that's exactly it. we don't know what our next level is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when we've dealt with something if there is going to be another level of chaos.
Yeah.
I believe there's always a level of chaos. You can't run from chaos.
No.
But if you're grateful to that chaos, it's not going to return. And if it does return, it's nothing on your pipeline of awareness.
Right. This is coming back to this whole thing that I was saying, though, about it's my responsibility. If I create chaos, if I keep running away and say chaos keeps happening, or chaos keeps happening or showing up for me, without sitting down like you're just saying and go, oh, interesting. What's this here for? Right?
Yeah, and I think the thing is we ignore as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
I mean, I know I will ignore as till I possibly can, and then I'll go, okay, righto, you've run my mind for 24 hours. I need to deal with this, or
Yeah.
you know, and I don't have a particular time frame of when I'm going to deal with my chaos, whatever comes in. You know, when the physical symptoms come in, you know, you've got to deal with it, because if you don't, right now, it's just going to get worse.
Right.
But people who jump from partner to partner, and I'm like, but you haven't learned your lesson from the last partner. No, I don't need to. It was all their fault. I'm like, oh my God. And you can just see the next 6 months of this lovely new partner, how destroyed they're going to get. If they thought they had a level of chaos of 9 with 9 out of 10 with their last partner, they're going to get 12 out of 10.
Oh, big time.
Next one.
Absolutely. Because that is so funny. It's like there is no such thing as it's all that other person's fault, right? Is that and this, you know what? It's really funny. It's really funny. I hadn't realized that this conversation was going to go so much into this. For gratitude and appreciation really does take us into a new level of responsibility. Right? So it's like, by being grateful for the learning of the abusive partner or the dysfunctional partner, being grateful for that will actually allow me to be responsible for what I did to create that situation that I'm no longer in, right?
Yeah. I think if you're playing victim, you will never be in a gratitude state.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
I think,
of course not, because everything is everybody else's fault.
That's right, but everything is everybody else's fault. You know, a real victim is, it's not just, oh yeah, the flowers died because I didn't water them. It's actually, well, I was too busy doing my sister's stuff that I had to go water the plants, and it was too, you know, so even that sort of stuff, it's like, well, no, you could have got out at 10 o'clock at night and just watered the goddamn plants.
Yep.
You know, but it is that victim is in ingratitude.
Yes.
Which cannot be great for their soul and
No.
physical. Rest of it, though.
And that's an interesting part, is that you know, certain souls have to do things long enough before they realize, if I want something different or I want something to shift, I have to start doing things differently.
Yeah.
From the inside. I mean, this kind of stuff, these conversations that we're having, these are inner work. This is not somebody, Deb and Moira is not showing up and saying, here's the step-by-step protocol that you have to do to actually align with your soul's calling.
Yeah. Step 1, acknowledge your stuff ups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledge. Yeah. Step 2, be grateful for them. Step 3, what have you learned? There's the steps. Done.
And then they keep repeating.
For every single thing that happens.
Absolutely. Every single thing that happens. And you know, this is really funny, because this is this part, you know, I've been saying about the responsibility. So many people will say, oh, you know, if I take responsibility, that's being very egocentric, saying it's all about me. Well, if everybody did that, then can you imagine the harmony and the gratitude that we'd all be feeling?
You'd be so different.
Wouldn't
The
it?
world, I look at that and I go, that would be ideal, but my God, can you imagine it? Like, even, you know, I walked through the door the other day. I was down at a shopping centre and I held the door open for people to walk through, and a guy opened the door for me and I walked through and I said thank you, and then I held the door, and not 4 or 5 people went through. Not one person looked at me and said thank you, and I thought, oh my gosh. I think for me, I just was expecting, and I guess when you expect, sometimes you don't get.
It won't show up.
Yeah, but I mean, just that little stuff. And then it started putting me in a funk. And I was like, rude people. I've just held the frickin' door open for you. I've got other things to do, and you didn't even acknowledge me. And then I went, you know what, Deborah, is this going to make you, because of what they've done, their actions, are you still going to open the door for everyone else? And I was like, of course. This is my internal talk. Of course.
Of course.
And then I'm like, so really, is this really a bother? Do you want this to be grumpy? You know, do you want to be grumpy for the rest of the day because of these people? No. Okay, well, are you grateful? Yeah. Are you acknowledge it? So next time, maybe you need to look them in the eye and thank them as they walk through the door.
Yeah.
No. And
Thank you for allowing me to hold this door open for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Have a great day. They'll think I'm probably the doorman. But it was quite interesting to actually go, okay, they didn't acknowledge me. They weren't grateful for me.
Mm-hmm.
In my way. I expected a look in the eye and a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't get that. So it threw me out. And then I'm like, who's responsible here? You or them, Deborah? Well, you held the door open with unrealistic expectations that everyone was going to thank you. So really, you're here in the, you know, if we're talking about right or wrong, you're the one who's got the expectation. So you're in the quote wrong.
Yeah.
But it was quite interesting. But I didn't let it get me out. But it has resonated in my mind to go, would you do this differently next time?
Right.
And it was like, no, I'm okay with the way it was. But now thinking, I would look them in the eye and I'd say, thank you, have a good day, you know, just to acknowledge that.
Well, because that's that thing, and you and I have talked about this before, is we educate people how to treat us. And so if you expect to be thanked, then you do it by saying thank you. Right? Yeah. Actually, it's funny you're talking about that, because just the other day I had a really funny experience and we both ended up laughing. I was coming out of a bookstore and I saw this guy coming. He was an older guy and I saw him coming towards the door. He was actually quite far, so I had to stop to hold, and I was holding the door open for him. So he ended up running a little bit to come. But as he did that, I turned and I dropped my keys. So he bent down and picked up my keys and said, there you go. And I held the door open for him. So we just...
Yeah, that's called fair exchange.
I thought so. And we both said thank you. And I thought it was cute. Here's me, you know, going out of my way to stand and hold the door. And then I ended up making him have to do something for me anyway.
That's funny. And you know what? He will remember that, just like you have. He will remember the story with something, or next time someone holds the door open or someone rattles the keys, he'll think of that, you know.
Yep, absolutely. But those are such beautiful little glimpses into creating, rippling out more gratitude, more fun, more smiles.
Yeah, I totally, and yeah, but the thing is, I wonder if he's actually had that same conversation with somebody about you. Oh, here I was rushing to the door and she bloody dropped the keys and I had to bend over and I was concerned because I just had so much to eat and my trousers were tight already. You know, just think of his side of this situation. Oh God, I didn't know what was going to come out, or if I was going to split my pants or anything. Bloody bitch. I mean, what made me bend over for a keys. You don't know what his story is.
You don't. And so you just let it go and smile. I think I do. I think that part is something that I think is really, really important, is to receive it. Because you know something else, another story that just popped into my mind, and this just happened last week, where a client of mine was telling me that she was in a restaurant by herself, got a meal, and when she went to pay, the waitress said, "Oh, it's just your coffee that you need to pay for. Your meal's been paid for." And it turned out that there was a couple had been sitting off in somewhere in the restaurant, and they just decided they wanted to pay for my client's meal.
Wow.
Which, and you know, I've done things like that. I actually love to pay for the next person behind me's coffee, but I will only ever do it if there's nobody there, because I don't want to be seen. Right? Because to me that's just the random act of kindness. And I love doing that. And so I was so thrilled to hear her story until I realized how it impacted her. She made that waitress go back and check the till roll 3 times because she must have made a mistake. There's no way anybody would ever do something so nice for her. They must have,
Oh.
you must have got it wrong. So then the waitress finally convinced her, no, it really did happen and your meal's being paid for. Then she said, can you give me a description of these people? She wanted to go out in the street and find them and ask them, why would you do that?
Wow, she's got real emotional blocks.
I know. So I said to her, I said, you're doing them a disservice. They wanted to give you this gift, and then your job is to say thank you and pass it on.
Interrogate.
Like, not interrogate, but pass it on. You know, if you feel so humbled and honored by something, then go and do it for somebody else. Pass it on, right? So I found that one. I've never heard somebody react that way.
Wow.
Of no way should anybody do something like that, because I was like, wow, okay. You're saying different. You never know how it's going to be received, right?
Yeah, well, I've never that hasn't happened to me. No one's bought me coffee or lunch, so feel free free to buy me coffee or lunch, anybody, and just randomly leave me a message say, hey, I've paid for your coffee or lunch. It hasn't happened to me, but I have heard about that. But for me, I would love to see their reaction. I would love to see them receive it just for my not them point out who I am, but just to see go, what? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You know, I'll pay for the next person's coffee.
Right. I have had the gift of, because there is a coffee store that I used to go to a lot, and the staff knew me and knew that if the coffee shop was empty, that is what I would do. And so they used to because they got the thrill out of gifting that to somebody. And
yeah, that's a great point. Think of the staff who get to gift something, and they would go and tell their family and friends, and it's that whole ripple effect of you just, giving a $5 gift or whatever it is.
Yep, that's all it was. And so the stories that they used to tell me, there was one that was, the woman just burst into tears because she said she'd had the worst day ever. She comes in and says, your coffee's been paid for by a stranger, basically. And she just thinks, she totally changes her worldview, right?
Well, if you've had a shite day and then someone does that, you would just go, oh, you would just, well, I would say you're going to be grateful, but your person was just like, well, I need to make sure that's definitely me. Yes. I need to make sure. And I wouldn't even thought about it. I wouldn't even thought to go, are you sure?
I know, me neither. I wouldn't have.
But I guess if I paid somebody's meal, or if I left $10 at the cashier and said, this is for the next person, $10, take $5 off this person and $5 off the next or something, I would want to know, my security background would want to make sure that they're honourable and they definitely do that and they don't just pocket the $10 themselves. But that would be my blocks. But there was a big phase on doing that, paying it forward. Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Paying it forward or random acts of kindness, right?
Yeah. And it's just those little things, but you don't know how it's going to be received. But that's an interesting one. And then chase them out in the street. Yeah. And the poor woman's probably thinking, oh, I've never had to deal with this before. Do I tell them that it was two older people? Do I tell them it was,
I know. Well, that's what I felt. I felt sorry for the waitress that was because like you just said, and this is in my experience of the people in the coffee shop, was it's a thrill to be able to say to somebody, oh, you don't owe because it's been paid for.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it's just our thought process. Most thought process would be, why me?
Yeah.
Why me?
Well,
what?
Isn't that interesting though? Why me? Because that's going straight into I'm not worthy of it. But we are. Everybody's worthy of unconditional love and kindness and gratitude, appreciation.
Well, hearing if that woman was in a funk and hearing she was in a funk and then she got to her, and then she got her coffee or hearing somebody's in a funk and had a bad day and then they get their coffee, that just, I probably wouldn't even, at that point, you probably wouldn't even think, why me? You'd just go, oh, thank you.
Exactly. It'd be a huge relief.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Something, a warm, cozy thing to lean into.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I find we don't often uh, thank people enough. We don't often thank people enough of what they've done for us, whether disgruntled or not. And, appreciation for others. When someone says, thank you for doing that, sometimes we just go, oh, it's fine.
Right.
Or my favorite is when someone goes, oh, you look lovely today. That's a new dress. And you go, oh, this old thing. I've just pulled this out. I don't know why women say that. Or
Women say
people go,
that,
oh, yeah,
absolutely.
you look. I know the worst part is for a woman is you say to them, oh, your hair looks great today. Have you done something different? And then they go, yeah, I just washed it.
Yeah.
And you think, is my hair really that bad? All the time that you've actually just noticed I've washed it. But I mean, when someone says, thank you so much for doing that job for me, and it's coming from the heart, thank you so much for doing that job for me. It really cut down my hours and meant I didn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me a different kick in my step. And this is what I did productive from there.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting that from somebody, you feel that, like a bow and arrow, you have that hit into your heart and you go, wow. And it's not, wow, I've done something for somebody else today. Wow, this is great that it's now given her the effect, and then she or he's going to go out and give that different vibration to somebody else. And you've also got that vibration with yourself. So you can't, to get into a funk of a state from that is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we're just grateful for a lot more things, I do think would have a healthier planet, and I do say focus on the flowers, not the weeds. Depression, when people are labeled depressed, it's the weeds they're focusing on. Let's fix these weeds. Let's fix these weeds. Let's fix these weeds. Not let's plant some new beautiful flowers in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be grateful for what it is, and replanting the gratitude over the, oh, this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and then so-and-so said this to me, and so-and-so did this, and, I'm not worthy of that. And that's that whole going for a coffee, and you've got to freak, oh, well, I don't want the coffee. I can afford mine today. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah, but that's actually a really interesting part. I like what you just said about the needing to be thankful for more. It's like, be thankful that the person let you in the traffic lineup, or be thankful that actually I record a mindfulness tip every month, and the mindfulness tip that I did for this month that we're in right now was to slow down enough to be grateful for things that we generally take for granted. And my example was, be grateful for running water.
Oh.
Right, so
Yeah.
you go and turn the tap on and slow down enough to feel the water on your hands, and wash your hands slowly enough while you're saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Isn't it awesome that we get to just go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen and turn the tap on and there's water pouring out for us?
That's just such a little thing, but it's not.
Exactly.
And you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Yes.
Would be the thing, is the grass always green on the other side? There's all those little sayings. But, I know when I had an accident, I spent 10 weeks or 9.5 weeks in a wheelchair, and I had limited mobility on my right side of my body, my leg and arm, and I had to, even just going to the toilet was the biggest burden. And I didn't realize how much it actually, you use your hands and, all, and you use your movement and your elbow and all the things that you just take for granted, like an elbow.
Yeah.
Now, you imagine your arm straight. How are you going to take that in your visual? How are you going to do certain things with a straight arm? And by goodness, if you're used to a right hand and you suddenly got a flick to your left hand, do you know how difficult it is to wipe your bottom when you've got a left hand?
Well, I actually do. Because I wasn't in a wheelchair, but I broke my arm. I broke my right arm and had it strapped to my body for quite a long time. So I totally get that.
I became a scruncher. I became a toilet paper scruncher. It was the worst thing in my mind because I couldn't fold like a little lady with my left hand.
Well, but actually, and we're talking about appreciation and gratitude. I actually am very grateful for the experience, as challenging as it is for a right-handed person to suddenly have to do everything. I even was driving within a couple of days, using my left hand to reach across my body.
Well, you drive on the wrong side of the road anyway.
I'm not sure if that was legal or not, but I did it.
Well, you're grateful you could lean across the body.
Yes.
But it's just those little things. It's only when you have an accident that you realize how valuable it is, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't think of our body, we don't think of our ankles, how important they are, we don't think of our knees. But when they go, you have to reprogram a heck of a lot in your mind and do things differently.
Absolutely.
That you've been on this planet for so many years and you've had it ingrained, for 40 years, 40 plus years or whatever, and then you've got to train your right hand to your left hand. Mm-hmm. Someone said, right, now I want you to learn how to write with your left hand. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, if you're right-handed, obviously. If you're not, you'll be high-fiving.
Exactly.
But it's those things. It's those just being grateful for everything and anyone and everything, whether it's chaos they bring into your life or not. There's something all the time going on.
Absolutely. And so this is why we are talking about gratitude and hoping that everybody got some nugget or some inspiration of how to create more gratitude in their life.
Absolutely. And I think the thing is, whether you say it to people, whether you say it internally to yourself, whether you write it down, there's a lot of gratitude journals out there. But I mean, I love the idea of gratitude journals because you go back 3 months. I say to people, where were you 3 months ago? And they're like, oh my gosh, I was suicidal. I was dying. I was this, and this. Yeah. Or I had the most amazing life and then this happened and now look at me. Yeah. It's important to look back and acknowledge where you've come from, to know where you'd love to go and what your what your boundaries are at.
Absolutely well said. So much gratitude to everyone for listening. We'd love to hear what's your favorite way of experiencing gratitude or spreading that around. Do you have a gratitude practice?
And do you do it daily or often, or just for me it's just when the chaos hits and I just go, oh, hang on, what's going on here?
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot. I'm going to start bringing that one in. So thank you so much, Deb. This has been fun.
Oh, thank you. Gratitude, appreciation. Thanks, Moira. Thanks to the team for listening.
Yeah.
Exciting times. Wait till next week.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.